Hey Springfield, it's Dominique, and we're on the scene with Matt Baker, the president of SAMI. So, what is SAMI?
SAMI is the Springfield Area Music Industry. It is a nonprofit that we started a couple years ago to elevate the Springfield music scene through education, innovation, and cooperation. And essentially, our mission is to make the Springfield music area nationally known. We want to be on the map. Our music scene is every bit as awesome and as unique and thriving and full of potential as all the other major music scenes, that everybody knows of. And so our goal is to, help bolster our music economy through, again, education, innovation, and cooperation, and get us to that national status that we deserve to be at because of the quality of players that we have here.
And how long has SAMI been around?
We're nearing our 3-year mark at this point, and so it's been a little bit. We definitely made it past the hump, and we've been just doing our best to plug away and keep on keeping on.
So, how did it all start? How did SAMI all start?
I was running the production at Crave before the fire that took them out of commission, and there was a band at the time called Anyone Else that had a couple of my buddies in it, and they had teamed up on a co-headlining event with Luna J. And so we were just, the three of us as 3 separate entities, as Crave, as Anyone Else, and Luna J got together to just brainstorm, different ideas for promotional strategies, marketing, anything and everything we could do to actually, try to make our show a success. And we got to talking with Justin Medley and Rob Boss from Anyone Else and Brian Copeland from Luna J just about how cool it used to be back in the days with like the Mo Rock stuff, and how there actually used to be a group of people that you could talk to and reach out to and say, hey, I want to make this really big event. And, they would gladly give you different promotional strategies and tell you how to, give you the, I guess I want to say give you the benefit of their wisdom and their experience and let you know, how you can do these things. And it sort of occurred to us all at the same time that it would be really cool if there was such a body that would try to provide resources to musicians that really want to step up their game. And it sort of snowballed from there because, like I said, we look around and there's just incredible players, left and right. This place is lousy with them. Everybody says that Branson is known for its music, and when you ask anybody, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, Branson is,
the place to be.
Yeah, it's Missouri's music scene.
Yeah.
A majority of those players live and gig here, and when they're here, they're actually playing the stuff that they want to play and that they love to play. We're just so spoiled for great music, but what we lack is the local buy-in. On any given weekend, we're seeing somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 attendees at live music events throughout the city. And when you consider that there's, when school's in, roughly 160, 180,000 population, 1,000 to 2,000 is like a pretty paltry percentage of that population that we're getting to come out to live music events. And unfortunately, that's just not sustainable, especially when it's spread over 40 plus venues. And so, in light of all that, we just got to thinking that, hey, we should really, try to get on the ball, and maybe we could be that resource for folks and try to help achieve that public buy-in. Because whenever we started researching all the other really vibrant music scenes, Austin or Nashville or Seattle or Memphis, all these other places that are known for great live music, they all have different origin stories and different things that make them really interesting. But what they have in common is that before tourists showed up and before they became a national destination, they had local buy-in. The locals showed up first and made that a thriving music scene. So we can have the greatest players in the world, and without great local buy-in, we're just going to be a city that's known for Bass Pro and cashew chicken.
Right.
And so that was almost 3 years ago now that we put out a call on Facebook and said, hey, who would be interested in teaming up, and we got a couple of great people that said, hey, I'd be real interested in teaming up, and we started doing meetings. They were monthly, and it was a great idea, but just like everything else, we just couldn't get the attendance that we needed to maintain that, which is not surprising, considering that the whole reason we exist is because people are struggling to get attendance. But we just ran through a whole gamut of different programs and things that we feel would be beneficial towards raising awareness on the professional side of things, so that we always present a really professional face and create a unforgettable experience for the end users, but then also trying to bring in those end users, because again, all the professionalism in the world isn't going to do much good if you don't got folks showing up at shows.
What kind of programs does SAMI have?
We have several really cool programs, actually, and they're all strategically oriented so that we can either achieve one of a couple of different goals. We have our Make Space program, which the Make Space program is designed to, earlier I had mentioned that we have a real problem with attendance, right? Just citywide. And we can look at all sorts of different strategies on how we can increase that attendance and how we can win some of that market share. But I think one thing that we've consistently overlooked over the years is that there is a huge market share that would love to attend shows at traditional musical venues if they felt comfortable, if they felt safe and welcome. And we haven't done a great job at making, for example, women or our LGBTQ communities or our disabled communities or communities of color. We haven't done a great job at making them feel welcome in our traditional musical spaces. And so that's, and folks whose sobriety is threatened by being in our traditional musical spaces. And so there's this huge market that they love live music. And they would love to come out to live music if they felt safe and comfortable. But we realize that that's a two-way street. And so with the Make Space program, we are endeavoring to hopefully spread awareness and sensitivity on a lot of the issues that those different communities face whenever, and what I guess the best way to say that would be how they're not made to feel comfortable and not made to feel safe when they come into our traditional musical spaces. So we're trying to raise awareness about that, but at the same time, it's a two-way street, and we can't just say, oh, hey, we're safe now, please come back. And so we are paying performers to go to non-traditional musical spaces and bring music to those folks and, hopefully serve the economy by giving musicians fair paying gigs, serve our market by trying to win back some of those folks who, may have written our music scene off as something that they just can't attend or be a part of because of, the various issues that we've described, and, also have our local musicians be seen as a force for good within the community and have them be visible as contributing members of the community. And so there's sort of like a threefold agenda with that program, which is to win the trust, to sell them on the music, and to educate the venues. And so that's one program that I'm really proud of. Another program that was founded by Justin Medley, who's one of our co-founders.
Just before we go into that, what kind of non-traditional spaces have SAMI gone to so far?
Let's see, there's been several. And it's been a minute since we've done anything because of COVID, and so now I have to rack my brain and remember what the last few things we did. We did what's the one that we had, me and you?
Was
the Nova Center?
I wasn't.
I believe it was at the Nova Center. We brought music there. We have sent music into senior facilities. We've sent music into the Glow Center. We have sent music. There's been a couple other different community events that I don't necessarily remember by name, but that we've sent music to. And it usually happens because we'll be talking to somebody in the community about, hey, wouldn't it be great if you had live music at your event? And they say, oh yeah, that would be great. But can you get somebody to play for free for us? And we usually say, no, but we will happily try to pay somebody to come in and play.
Right.
And so that's sort of the idea there, is that, again, spaces that would not traditionally have live music, we are eager to find those spaces and try to put live music there to enhance the event and to not only enhance things, but provide, paying wages to our musicians who are in desperate need of it.
Right, and for the people that don't usually go to bars or anything like that, to get a taste of what Springfield has to offer, which is great, because we do have so many great, talented people in this town. And so go on with the other programs.
Okay, so Justin Medley is a veteran, and one of the programs that he founded that we've carried on is our PTSD and moral injury program. We have a group that gets together every Monday, and they are veterans, and they are exploring, just all the different wonderful properties of music and its healing nature. And so we are helping to facilitate that in any way that we can, and that's something that we're extremely proud of. And again, that's just to, I guess there's really no ulterior motive to that one other than it felt like the right thing to do was to, facilitate that program in any way, shape, or form, because it's vital that we take care of our service members, and if we can do that through music, then so much the better, because we all know how powerful music can be. And so it's been really cool. We've provided them with lots of instruments and some funding, and they're starting to get like actual music therapists in there and helping these guys, and it's been a tremendous program, largely thanks to the effort of Tommy Good, who is a great friend of SAMI and a great friend of
He's great. Yeah.
Springfield in general. Love you, Tommy.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've taken on for years and have been proud to do it. And let's see, what other programs have we got? Here recently we have activated a media wing of some folks that we thought were doing really, really great work, and so we decided to see if we could help them continue to do that work.
And that would be On the Scene, which we are so grateful that he took us under SAMI's wing and let us continue doing what we loved doing when we were with the other company, and it did not work out, and we still wanted to do what we do because we see the benefit. We hear about it all the time, so we definitely did not want to stop. So definitely,
well, we're grateful to you, and we're thrilled to have the opportunity to form this partnership, because what you guys are doing is it directly serves exactly the issue I outlined earlier, which is we don't have enough buy-in from our local market to support a really thriving music economy. And so anything that can really shed light on how great our music scene is, and hopefully pump some life and energy into that scene is a great thing. And you guys weren't just doing anything, you were like doing all the things and all the events, and so it just absolutely made sense to, as soon as you asked for the help, it absolutely made sense to provide it, because you guys were doing incredible work.
And what we want to do is go with what SAMI's vision was, which, if you want to explain.
Yeah, like I said earlier, our vision is just to elevate the Springfield music industry through education, innovation, and cooperation. And so a big portion of that is to provide resources. We want to provide resources to our local professionals who, maybe need a little bit more education on how to, file their taxes, or how to, have well-attended events, or whatever. In anywhere where there's a lack of information, if it's brought to our attention, we'll try to do some research and find out things about it. But then also to educate the potential clients that we need to come to shows to support our live music. And so that's where you guys would come in, not only helping us provide those educational resources to our local professional community, but also providing education to the folks that we need to come out and support our music scene.
Right, and we're really excited to start bringing in some of the people that have been here for years. Like Eddie Gamuscio is actually going to be our guest for next week, and we're going to be talking to him since he's been here forever, and just give some advice to the people that are just trying to have questions.
He's got history that, you know, he's a legacy guy in this town, and he's been a stalwart organizer for years. Like the Queen City Shout is, I mean, it's the premium local fundraising event. Like he sets the bar.
And if you guys have not checked out the Queen City Shout group page and also the web page, they've been doing just all virtual this year since COVID. You know, they didn't want to, where they usually have it on C Street and at all the different venues and such like that. They didn't want to put anybody.
40 or 50 acts at like 30 venues or something. Just like a huge, mega effort on Eddie's part. I can't. And
now he's doing it all online.
So, which probably is more work, I would imagine.
So go Eddie for doing that. 94. Yeah, we were talking to him just last week about this to promote it, and I can't even imagine, you know. But thank you, Eddie, for putting that on. But we're gonna, you know, bring on other people, like even Rule Chapel. We're gonna bring him on eventually, and just maybe just anybody like Molly Healy. And
we have such a wealth of resources available to us,
and just people to just, you know, kind of give advice, like where have they been and their downfalls and their strengths and stuff.
Right,
because it will help.
Excuse me. It'll absolutely help, and I think that, you know, a lot of our musicians don't necessarily approach this as a business because maybe they haven't experienced it as a business previously, and maybe they don't think that, oh well, I'm not one of those, you know, I'm not ever going to make money at this, I'm not ever going to, you know, be part of the industry, I just like to play music. But like, you should approach it from a place of wanting to provide the best experience possible so that we can all do better, because then that equips all of us to put out better, more enriching music, and to keep doing what we love doing. And, you know, I feel like having a passionate and thriving community is one of the most important things for me, and that's what's, you know, kept me going, and I can't be alone in that.
Right.
We all have to feel that to some extent, that, you know, the sort of enrichment that we get from just seeing a great show, it's invaluable.
Yeah. And I'll talk about that another program. So I am also part of SAMI. I'm on the board of directors as well as the treasurer. But the part that I was heading up, which was called Scene Swap, which would be me going over to any kind of city or town that has music, going to the venues and networking with them, and trying to bring them down to Springfield, the bands up there, and then swapping the Springfield bands with shows up there to pair them, which we did have success with a band in Joplin, which was
Chased by Lions.
Yeah, Chased by Lions. They came up a couple times and did a show with Vultures of Chaos County. And we kind of had to put that on the back burner because of funding and everything. And to go about funding. So now we don't have a lot of sponsorships and stuff like that.
No, it's almost entirely...
because this is a non-profit organization.
Right. And it's almost entirely individual donors. You know, we've had... you know, Amy with Just One More, who is phenomenal, gave us a big boost in the beginning with a great donation. But outside of that, it's been almost entirely individuals who just see what we're doing and believe in the message. They believe in the programs and they believe in the cause. And so, you know, that's something in itself, is that, you know, as much as we would love to have some great corporate sponsors behind everything we're doing, and, you know, there's been folks, I don't know, like, I want to shout out Music Man Photography. Marty's been great to us. Dan from Shuffle's been great to us. but I don't know if Marty is an LLC so I don't know if he's a corporate sponsor or an individual sponsor, but he's been great for us. But yeah, we've kind of just bootstrapped this and, limped by on contributions of our own and individual contributions, save a few, really great boost from some great folks. But we definitely, need more to keep it going because nothing comes free.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Exactly. Now, some events that we've done, so like the Media Blitz.
Yep.
Which was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Explain that.
The whole idea behind the Media Blitz was that, we mentioned the Scene Swap program earlier, and one of the, I guess, alternative strategies that underlie the Scene Swap program, or the underlying, logic behind it, was that one of the things we struggle with is oversaturation in the market. And what I mean by that is when a single band is playing in town 4, 5, 6 times a month, they're going to see a diminishing return on their attendance, and that hurts everybody, including them. And so part of the message that we've been preaching for since our inception is that, don't oversaturate your own market. If you're going to play to 10 people, go play to 10 people somewhere else. And that way, when you come back to town after 6 weeks and play another show here, it'll be well attended. The venue will make money. You'll make money. There'll be a lot more people there, so everybody will have a much more memorable and fulfilling time. I guess now that whole dynamic is sort of on its head because we're not necessarily trying to get all the people out anymore. But that was our previous strategy, was to try to pack as many people into a place as we could. Remember them days?
Yeah.
But so that was sort of the idea behind the Scene Swap, is that if we could export some of our talent into other scenes and maybe bring some of their talent here, we could reduce that level of oversaturation so that whenever our bands do play Springfield, they're much better received and it's better for everybody. And so what that led to then was that as we're trying to make these connections and get these bands booked in other places, it became pretty obvious that a lot of bands lacked professional EPKs. That's an electronic press kit, and basically it's a bio, a photo shoot, some sort of audio recording, video, just something to help sell yourself to potential venues that you're trying to get booked at in other cities. And, it was our goal to try to provide that to some bands. And I think that the event was a blast. We provided, I'd say we hit about 60% of our goals with that experience, but it was a blast, and we had a lot of people come out, and they got to be a part of the production, and so I think that helped, again, increase that public buy-in.
And thanks to Shuffle for hosting that.
Thanks to Dan for hosting us, because it was a great event, and I think that the failures rest solely on us as organizers to try to actually deliver that final product to some of the bands and artists. And like I said, I think we probably
was our very first event.
Yeah, it was our very first event, and I think we hit about 60 to 70% of our goals within that. And so I think that the idea was great. I think that the event itself at Shuffle was great fun. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement on the organizational side, but I'd love to do it again.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I'd love to take another crack at, and this time I want to hit 100% of our goals.
It's all a learning experience, it really is. Let's see, what else did we have? We had the Christmas party.
Yeah, and that was actually, in the prepared questions, you mentioned one of the things, or rather said that, there's going to be a question where, what am I most proud of with SAMI? And I think that that's actually one of those moments, and that was your idea, to just host a Christmas party.
For the musicians.
Musicians, because we spend all season working other people's Christmas parties. And
so it was a company party, basically, for a musician.
That was the idea, is that we weren't going to be satisfied unless, we had ties wrapped around our heads and, somebody spiked the punch, and we got a bunch of musicians together and just let them let loose and have their own Christmas party where,
and with as many people that were there, I was surprised with this little food that we actually had. It lasted, and I think we even had leftovers.
Yeah, that was a magical evening. I think in that one, we hit 100% of the goals that we set out, which which was to just have a great time, give our local musicians something that they appreciate, or rather let them know how much we appreciate them. Booze them up and feed them up and send them away feeling jolly and full of merriment. And I think that we definitely hit all those marks. And,
And that was at White River.
Yeah, that was
in
at
the
White
back
River.
room. And yeah, that was a great.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
That was a really.
Everybody was jamming and
we had this.
coming together.
We had this sense of solidarity that was, really impressive and made me just fall in love with the Springfield music scene all over again. We were talking about programs earlier, and we've mentioned COVID several times, and so I guess that it would behoove me to also mention what lately we've turned all of our resources to, more or less, with the exception of what was earmarked for existing programs like the PTSD program, is our Solidarity Fund.
Right.
And so basically, as soon as COVID happened, the board of directors had a conversation about, hey, we've got this money in the treasury that, is for, various different things like the garage sale and other programs that are like on the horizon. But we can't wait for those events to happen. We've got a musical community that's in need right now. And so we turned over our treasury and said, here, we're here to help. If you need a small cash infusion and any of your gigs were COVID-related cancellations, you have access to that fund. And to date, we've distributed like $980.
And that fund is still going on,
Yeah,
right?
and that fund is still going, and it's,
And should just contact the page if any of you guys
just reach
are
out
still...
to us if you're struggling. It's not, we're not through with the cancellations by any means. They're still happening. Our musicians are still hurting from not only being canceled, but then just not being booked. There's a decided lack of gigs currently.
Right,
And
there's
so-
several still venues that are not having any type of live thing. Live performances.
And so we're trying to make that fund available to anyone and everyone who just needs it. And, no judgment, no questions asked.
Right. You're in the industry, then...
And by industry, we mean if you're a musician, if you're a tech, if you're a promoter, if you are venue staff, if you're a door guy, if you're a security guard, if you work within the music industry or any of the peripheral industries, then you have access to that fund. So just let us know, and it's here to help you out. We're doing $40 a week payments right now until the fund's gone or until the need is no longer there.
So what excites you the most about where you see SAMI heading?
Right now, honestly, we had a period where, we were all, the board members were all sort of just chasing their own issues and trying to figure out how to make our own careers in the musical field. And we sort of lost a little bit of our momentum, and we had just poured so many hours and so much of our own resources into trying to keep it going that we stalled out a little bit. And so right now, I'm super excited to have On the Scene be active and hopefully pump some energy and life back into us as organizers. You guys are definitely, you're all over the place, and you're so energetic, and you're just everywhere, and I love it. And so that's the sort of energy that we need. We need that huge energy infusion, and so we need more volunteers to make that happen. We need folks to
So that would
really
actually
buy
be
in.
my next question. What are your most urgent needs? More volunteers.
More volunteers.
And what would make the greatest difference in helping SAMI getting better at what we do?
I think that, right now we lack manpower and we lack funds. And those two things are sort of, they're two sides of the same coin, where essentially we need resources and energy to keep going. So anything that we can do to get more people involved with the fundraising side so that we can support our programs, or more people involved with just spreading the word and letting folks know how great our music scene is.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is a
whole
project
idea.
that's greater than oneself. And that's why I love being involved.
Right. Same.
So if somebody wanted to get to know the organization better, what would they do?
They can check us out on Facebook under Springfield Area Music Industry. You can go to our website, which is SAMI417.org. We've got a Twitter that we don't use very much. I think, so there's different ways that you can reach out to us, but I think, you can reach out on the scene. But really, odds are that if you just go to a show anywhere, you're gonna run into one of us.
Yeah.
We are the Springfield Area Music Industry.
One of us is going to be out. It's somewhere.
And so, just talk to us.
So I think we have already talked about this, though. What is the main obstacles that stand between us and the mission?
Right now?
And how do you think we could overcome them?
Right now, it's the whole thing has changed. If you'd asked me this in...
Before COVID?
April, yeah. Or I guess February, I would have said that our main obstacle was just having resources. We don't have enough funds, we don't have enough folks. But now we've got this whole new playing field where we've got to figure out how to navigate COVID and how to be responsible and still be successful, how not to starve. So there's all these different dynamics at play, and I think we're trying to figure that out together and figure out how we can still have a viable music scene, because really it's in question.
Yeah.
So I wish I had a really solid answer for you right now about what our biggest obstacle is, but our biggest obstacle currently is this whole social construct and this whole epidemic that are at odds with each other, and we can't have live events without that threat, and so we're trying to figure out how to thread that needle and make music viable again.
Right. Is there anything that you wish more people knew about SAMI or the issues you are trying to solve?
I just wish that, again, more people knew how great our music scene is. That's, if I could wish, my fondest wish, it would just be that everybody could get out and catch all these magical moments that, I'm fortunate enough to see, most days, because this is the work that I do is, in live music. I wish that everybody had the opportunity to experience those moments. And so, that's my biggest wish, is not necessarily for us or for resources or funding or anything, just go see a show. Go see a lot of shows. Go see all the shows that you can see and support your local musicians.
Yeah, and musicians have, their virtual tip jar too. So if you do not feel comfortable going out, you could still watch it online, and they have virtual tip jars.
Support some, like the Save Our Stages movement. Because there's also a lot of tech people that don't have virtual tip jars and don't have that avenue of, they're not necessarily able to go play, crooning music in a restaurant or go play in somebody's backyard because they're techs. And so I've been fortunate to stay pretty busy, but there's a lot of guys and girls who haven't been as fortunate. And so, any way that you can support it, there's lots of different, like I said, the Save Our Stages hashtag is a great one that folks should try to get involved with and show love to.
What kind of other avenues that you hope that somebody that might not necessarily be in the music scene could still be involved with the organization? So, say print or anything like that.
Well, and traditionally, those two industries specifically kind of go hand in hand. The print industry has always been, journalism and marketing and ad agencies. They've always been an integral part of the music scene itself. And so, if there's anything, any print companies out there that want to help the cause, by all means, lend us your ears and lend us your resources and help us promote how great the music is out here. If you're a restaurant, let us know. We can maybe get music to you, or maybe you can get food to musicians.
Like local CDs or something to play in your restaurant.
Right.
That would be a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you have any other like big dreams? If we had all the money in the world, you know, money was not an issue. What's something that we would want to start? I know that we were talking about having like our own venue that we could host locals,
right?
You know. And
well, I
stuff.
mean, a not-for-profit venue would be fantastic. That would be really cool. That'd be something that would excite the hell out of me. But I mean, mostly it's just all about trying to build solidarity and build the community up. And so yeah, I think that a not-for-profit venue would be a great way to do that, to just give everyone a venue and a place at the table, because I feel like that's, you know, a lot of folks are underrepresented in the community, and you know, it'd be great to have a place where we can just give those folks a stage and let them do their thing. So that would be really exciting.
Yes. So I want to thank you for being on the scene.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you one-on-one. But let's talk about where everybody could find us and get in contact with us.
Okay. On the internet, SAMI417.org, and if you want to reach out to us via email, it's matt@SAMI417.org or Dominique@SAMI417.org. Reach us on the Facebook Messenger page for the Springfield Area Music Industry.
And on the scene, because we're
on
just
the scene.
connected like that. So
synergy.
yes, synergy.
Yeah. So any of those methods will work to get a hold of us, or like I said, just show up at any show pretty much, and you'll probably see one of us there. But yeah, the email is probably slightly more reliable than just going to a venue. But only slightly.
Yeah, well, because everything's in print, and then we won't forget.
Right.
But thank you again. And guys, you know, just keep your eye out and see what we are up to, because we're all over the place.
Yeah,
like
they're always on the scene.
Yeah, we're always on the scene. So until next time, and if you have some questions for Eddie Gamuccio next week, put them in the comment section below. Until next time, see ya.